A huge majority of gamers are currently wondering when the next Grand Theft Auto game will rear its head out of the abyss. With GTA 5 achieving insane lifetime sales, it's a wonder that Rockstar hasn't jumped at the opportunity to move on to the next installment. However, with the 2013 release, as well as GTA Online, currently being so unbelievably profitable for the company, there doesn't seem to be any rush to move on to number 6. However, there may be a sliver of hope on the horizon, and it comes in the form of a financial report. According to VGC, which cites an article published on Axios recently, there is a possibility that Grand Theft Auto May 6 arrive within the next couple of years, March 2024 to be a bit more precise. How this conclusion was reached boils down to an analysis of Take-Two's financial update, which may point to the aforementioned date. Analysts interpret the information, saying that the company expects a 14% increase on annual growth rate in 2024, indicating that a large IP could be coming out that year, particularly in the first quarter. One analyst has said that this increase could come down to Rockstar being scheduled to release something big around this time, which would explain such confidence in the growth. Take-Two already acquired Farmville creator Zynga for a record $12.7 billion recently, which hints at possible mobile ports of Rockstar titles, including GTA and Red Dead Redemption. In general, it looks as though the holding company has a lot in store, which now Take-Two has a major stake in mobile gaming now, and GTA Online could be coming to mobile as well. Of course, it does need to be said at this stage that these are mere speculations. While fans would love to know of the whereabouts of Grand Theft Auto 6, the truth is that the studio is keeping very quiet about whether it's even in development. The report even says that there is a possibility that this date could be wrong, given that GTA 5 was delayed to late 2013. But the news still points towards some glimmer of hope for at least a launch year. With the disastrous launch of Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition last November, fans are no doubt hungry for something new in the franchise. The remastered trilogy may be seeing improvements, and Rockstar has apologized for how botched the launch was, but it's safe to assume that GTA 6 is what fans are really after. But if the interpretations are to be believed, it could still be at least 2 more years until it sees the light of day. 2021 has been over for a few days at this point, but many are still reflecting on what the last year had in store. This includes video game companies like PlayStation, which recently released lists of the most downloaded games in 2021 across PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PlayStation VR, and free-to-play titles. And as one might have guessed, many of the games in the top 10 are the usual suspects. The most downloaded PS5 game of 2021 was NBA 2K22, the latest entry in the endlessly popular basketball series from 2K Sports. Hot on its heels was Call of Duty Vanguard, trailed by Spider-Man Miles Morales in 3rd place. Spider-Man Miles Morales sales being so high in 2021 may be somewhat surprising to some since the game originally launched in 2020, but it likely had a boost from more people finally being able to get their hands on a PS5 and picking Miles Morales as one of their first games, as well as Spider-Man hype in general from the No Way Home movie. The PS4 top 3 are quite a bit different, with Grand Theft Auto 5 being the most downloaded game on the platform despite having originally released for the PS4 in 2014. It was followed by Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War as opposed to Call of Duty Vanguard, which is surprising as Vanguard is the newest Call of Duty game, whereas Black Ops Cold War first launched in 2020. In 3rd place for PS4 is Minecraft, which makes sense as Minecraft is the second best-selling video game of all time and doesn't have a native PS5 version. The PlayStation VR and free-to-play categories didn't have many surprises. Beat Saber remains one of VR's killer apps, as does Job Simulator, so it's no surprise at all to see them take the top 2 spots. Apex Legends, Splitgate, Rocket League, Call of Duty Warzone, and Fortnite reign supreme over the free-to-play arena, as many would have expected, though some may be surprised to see Genshin Impact fail to crack the top 5 despite its incredible popularity. That could be a sign that the bulk of Genshin Impact's player base is playing the game on PC and mobile instead, though that's just speculation at this time. It will be interesting to see what the 2022 charts look come next year. There are numerous high-profile PlayStation games set to launch in 2022, including the likes of Horizon Forbidden West, GT7, and God of War Ragnarok, so there's going to be some serious competition to say the least. There is a myriad of gaming genres available with varying levels of popularity. Adrenaline-seeking gamers can grab racing games or action games, music-loving gamers have plenty of rhythm games to choose from, and gamers with wanderlust can indulge in various adventure games. Some games appeal to introverts and are best played alone, while other games are a much more social experience that bring gamers from around the world together. Although many people find the concept of video games about sports to be strange, they continue to dominate the sales charts, and 2021 is no different. Last year, PlayStation's top 20 most downloaded games chart was filled with various sports games, as is the case every year. With the global pandemic forcing many people to remain indoors and disrupting many sporting tournaments, some people have turned to video games to get their sporting fix. Although sports games are enjoying a fruitful present, not all their futures look equally bright. The FIFA series developed by EA is popular in part thanks to its use of the FIFA brand. However, in 2021, the Football Association FIFA asked for $1 billion for every 4 years the license is used. In response, EA released a public statement outlining the fact that the company is exploring the idea of renaming our global EA Sports football games. Although the license has been extended until the end of 2022, there is no telling how long the partnership will continue. eFootball PES has been rebranded as eFootball and is now a free-to-play game. Unfortunately, the first game from the series, eFootball 2022, was universally panned by critics and gamers alike. Most of the criticisms were geared towards the game's poor graphics and numerous glitches. Only time will tell whether Konami will be able to rehabilitate the reputation of the series. An old name might make a return and share the charts with the aforementioned sports games soon, as EA has stated that it intends to make college football games again. EA had previously owned the NCAA football series, but it was put to a halt with NCAA Football 14 when the NCAA and EA were taken to court over the unpaid use of player likenesses. According to EA, its new college football games will contain a wealth of content including more than 100 institutions featuring the logos, stadiums, uniforms, game day traditions and more. PlayStation's 2021 download charts reveal that sports are just as popular in the gaming world as they are in the real world. The games allow anyone, no matter their physique, to imagine for a brief moment that they are a world-class sports star performing flawlessly, and that can be addictive. Although sporting games have their fair share of issues to wade through, it seems like their appeal is not going to fade anytime soon. I have to cover the sales figures of 2021 here more, and it's a bit too late, but let's dive in. The Nintendo Switch was released in March 2017 and became a near-instant success for Nintendo. Since its launch, the hybrid console has managed to stay popular with fans and sell over 92 million units. As a result of these staggering sales numbers, it has already become one of the best-selling systems in the history of Nintendo. However, recent data indicates that the console shows no signs of slowing down. Recently, new information became available disclosing the sales figures for the Nintendo Switch and other video game consoles in the UK. Based on hardware data from GfK, it was revealed that 3.36 million consoles were sold in the UK last year. These numbers signaled growth in the video game hardware market as combined console sales for Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox were up 14% in 2021. Furthermore, these sales figures evidenced that Nintendo's hybrid console continued to be extremely popular with consumers. According to this data, the Nintendo Switch was the best-selling console in the UK in 2021. While the console had trailed the PS5 for part of the year, the holiday shopping season helped Nintendo overtake its competitor. Based on the information from GfK, 500,000 Switch units were sold during November and December. These increased sales were partially due to a Mario Kart 8 bundle available over the holiday shopping period. In addition, the release of the Nintendo Switch OLED model helped drive sales at the end of the year. While the Nintendo Switch outperformed the other consoles on the market during 2021, it was only the second biggest sales year for the console on record. Remarkably, it had sold even more units during 2020. However, a significant reason for that success was due to COVID-19, and its numerous lockdowns that caused console sales to spike. Beyond these sales figures for the Switch in the UK, the hybrid console enjoyed success in other parts of the world. According to hardware data from Famitsu, the system sold over 5.3 million units in Japan, more than 5 times that of all other consoles combined. These latest financial figures are doubtlessly exciting for Switch fans, as it means the company appears to have even more incentive to continue to support the popular console moving forward. It will be interesting to see how Nintendo follows up on this recent success as 2022 gets underway. So far, the company looks poised to have a successful year on the software side, as games such as Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Splatoon 3, and Breath of the Wild 2 are expected to release this year. Time will tell if these upcoming games can keep Switches flying off store shelves throughout the coming year. I want Nintendo to make a more powerful system, but at this rate of the Switches selling, I don't know if my hope comes true. Moving forward, we have a misinformation from Bloomberg to debug and discuss. A recent report suggested that Sony Interactive Entertainment has continued its production of PlayStation 4s into 2022 despite having plans to discontinue the piece of gaming hardware at the end of 2021, a report that Sony has now denied. As the current generation of consoles recently celebrated their first birthdays, fans expected production to start winding down on last-gen hardware, but PS4s are going to stay in production for a while as Sony had initially planned. In an interview with NLAB first reported by Yahoo, a Sony spokesperson said that there was no plan to end the production of PS4s at the end of last year, a direct contradiction to the Bloomberg report that broke earlier this month. Ending the production of PlayStation 4 consoles in 2021 is a move that many would seem to understand given the global shortage of graphics chips that continues to impact technology production, but given Sony's history of console support years after new ones launch, it would be a little out of character to stop the creation of consoles so quickly after next-gen ones are made available. Some believe that Sony's continued PS4 support is being done to help combat the console shortages that have plagued the industry since the start of the pandemic. With how fast the PlayStation 5 is flying off the shelves, some gaming fans might settle for a PS4, but, as it turns out, those aren't staying in stock either as a result of the increased demand for gaming hardware. There's plenty of precedent for Sony to continue making PS4 consoles well after the start of a new console generation. For reference, the PS3, a console that launched in 2006, was finally discontinued in 2017, and the PS2 lasted even longer, from 2000 to 2013. Based on that, it would appear that the PS4 might still have a few years in it, as it won't be turning 10 years old until late 2023. Given that Sony's current lineup of announced titles coming later in 2022 will be available on both PS4 and PS5, it makes sense that it would want to keep supporting fans of its titles by making its cheaper and potentially more accessible hardware on the market. So far, Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, and God of War Ragnarok will all be getting cross-generational releases. But after 2023, then we will be seeing the next-gen only titles like Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Star Wars KOTOR Remake and other unannounced stuff. 2021 was a very full year for Sony and the PlayStation 5, as the console saw plenty of major titles releasing throughout the first year of the newest Sony console's lifeline. Between the arrival of highly anticipated new games and breakout hits like Returnal, the console's first full year on the market was an eventful one. Now, moving into 2022, Sony has shown that there is plenty on the horizon for the PlayStation 5 over the next 12 months. The first full year of the PS5's life saw many top companies pump out next-gen experiences alongside a plethora of announcements and reveals for the console's future. Popular games from the PS4 like Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding also made the jump to the next-gen console. Now, Sony has shared a list of games set to release in 2022 for the PS5, referred to as 22 and 22. The long list of games set to release for the console throughout the coming year features some of the biggest names the platform has seen yet, with Sony's own Horizon Forbidden West headlining the list. Massive names like Elden Ring and the upcoming God of War Ragnarok join the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection, and Dying Light 2 in the top 5 from the gaming juggernaut. The remainder of the list features plenty of big names in the gaming industry that are set to release new games in 2022. Gran Turismo 7 and Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin find their way into the publisher's top 10 upcoming games, and the bottom half of the list features plenty of high-profile indie games set to release over the next year, like Salt and Sacrifice and Sifu. The full ranking is packed with stylish graphics and trailers for each entry included alongside brief blurbs that detail the upcoming games. While 2021 saw many PS5 games releasing, it was also a continuation of Sony's struggles to keep up with overwhelming demand for the newest PlayStation console. Console shortages have limited PS5 sales since its September 2020 launch, as the console is dealing with low supplies of semiconductors that have plagued the electronics industry. While many fans continue to face difficulties acquiring the PlayStation 5, Sony is ensuring that those who do have the console will have plenty of games to play throughout 2022. Sony's rumored Spartacus program seems to be the chalice of legacy titles that PlayStation fans are waiting for, but official information about this curious new project has been scarce. One of Spartacus' main features is supposed to be the ability to play classic titles from old PS consoles, and a few new game listings in the PlayStation 5 game store seem to suggest as much too. Users have started reporting that the PlayStation 5 game store now has official listings for Dead or Alive 5, and a few other games, all of which have so far been exclusive to PlayStation 3. Since Bloomberg's Jason Schreier has reported on Spartacus subscriptions offering access to PS exclusives both modern and old, these new listings suggest that the project could be further along than originally suggested. The appearance of certain PlayStation 3 games on the PS5 store was initially limited to just Dead or Alive 5, but the list has since grown to include Bejeweled 3 and Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones HD. Since the PlayStation Store is a generalized marketplace with games for all online-enabled Sony consoles, this wouldn't be newsworthy on its own, but PS5 users normally don't see pricing information for games that they cannot purchase in the first place. It goes without saying that this is not the official confirmation of a Sony Spartacus feature, and that there's every chance this is merely a visual bug in the PS Store. Still, the availability of PS3 games on the latest PlayStation consoles would be a massive boon for Sony's subscription service, and it is supposed to be coming as part of Spartacus' final pricing tier. In effect, the new PlayStation subscription service would functionally be a combination of PS Plus and PS Now, albeit with a tiered pricing structure. According to the latest information, access to PlayStation 3 games would be limited to the highest price tier, which would also include PS1 and PS2 titles. Finally, it's worth mentioning that this is far from a definitive sign of what's to come with Spartacus. As mentioned earlier, this could be a bug, with the PS Store possibly pulling its price information from PS Now libraries where users can rent products individually. For the time being, PlayStation fans should wait and see what comes of this, and if it really is related to Spartacus in the first place. A big draw for gaming on PlayStation is collecting trophies, the non-tangible yet incredibly satisfying acknowledgments of one's in-game accomplishments. Many PlayStation players were surprised when their PS4 trophies briefly appeared as PS3 ones, naturally turning heads again about a future backwards compatibility update on PS5. For those who have been playing on PlayStation since the PS3 days, they have been earning trophies for nearly 15 years now. Trophies were not inherently part of the PS3, but were added in an update a few years into the console's lifespan as a rival service to Xbox's achievement and gamerscore systems. Whether it's on console or through the PlayStation app, players can check their trophy collection in its entirety, with games being denoted with certain flares, a console-specific tag, and unique game icon shapes to help differentiate console generations. The last big change that came to PlayStation's trophy system was an overhaul just prior to the PS5's release. A strange bug recently made users' PS4 trophies appear as PS3 ones. The image here shows the malfunctioning trophy lists, one being from the mobile app, and the other from the PS5. The latter image is the slightly more useful of the two, demonstrating the missing game icons and names as well as the PS3 label for titles that should simply be PS4 games. This bug was short-lived on both PlayStation consoles and mobile app, with Sony quickly rectifying it, though still giving players enough time to begin hypothesizing about what it could mean. Besides the occasional remaster or remake, many games from these generations have been stuck on those old PlayStation consoles. This trophy incident was another instance for fans to believe PlayStation was getting this much desired backwards compatibility. The timing of this incident is peculiar as not too long ago PS3 games became visible on the PS5 store, which was another big surge for people hoping Project Spartacus is legitimate. Nonetheless, one has to wonder the origins of the trophy bug itself, and specifically why it would be converting PS4 trophy listings into PS3 ones. Other than the correlation that yes, it seems like Sony is thinking about the PS3, there is not much that outright corresponds this issue to that of the rumors surrounding Project Spartacus. Considering how fast PlayStation caught the bug though, anything is possible. With rumors of a PS Plus and PS Now overhaul reaching something of a boiling point, PlayStation fans have been combing over everything the company has been doing as of late with a fine-toothed comb, which resulted in the discovery of an updated patent filed by the company. The patent is for backward compatibility features that would allow current PlayStation consoles to be able to run titles from older generations. The patent was refiled by PlayStation architect Mark Cerny on January 6, 2022. While it seems like it might be a major piece of evidence to support the rumored Project Spartacus, which is reported to include backward compatibility options not previously seen on the PS4 and PS5, it's important to note that the patent has been around for quite some time. Initially filed in 2015, the patent for backward compatible options was linked to the PS4 Slim and PS4 Pro, which released in late 2017, around the time that the patent was refiled for the first time. It was then refiled again on January 10, 2020, and now it's happened once more, leading fans to believe that, finally, Sony is doing something about its console's lack of solid backward compatibility options. It's still unclear what the plans are for the patent, as fans have gotten their hopes up with each subsequent refiling of it. However, many signs seem to be pointing to Sony's rumored online service revamp. That said, there are just as many signs pointing to this week's filing of the patent being a simple matter of routine, given the fact that it's been refiled consistently every 2 years or so since it was initially filed. When looking through the different claims of the patent, they do paint an ideal picture of what fans would want out of PS4 and PS5 backward compatibility, but it's been doing that since the early days of the PS4, so there's a big possibility that the refiling of the patent doesn't indicate anything about the future of the consoles. Currently, all fans can do is continue hoping that this is the time that the patent sticks and actually makes a debut on PlayStation consoles, but other than its coincidental timing, there's not much to suggest that this time it'll be used. After all, Sony, along with all gaming hardware companies, files for patents all the time for hardware that doesn't see the light of day for several years. According to some United Kingdom retailers, Sony is pulling PlayStation Now cards from store shelves and will pause selling them. British retailer Game has confirmed that Wednesday, January 19th, will mark the last day that UK gamers can purchase a PlayStation Now card before they're taken away. The retailer has stated that point-of-sale PlayStation Now cards will be removed from customer-facing areas in all game stores, and ESD will be altered to prohibit the sale of the product. Digital bays will also be altered in the same way as part of this week's commercial update, with January 21st being the last official day that gamers in the UK can purchase PlayStation Now cards. This also ignited talks of the new things, but after all, for me this is only a combo of what we already had, with some new additional legacy titles, maybe with FPS and resolution boost with trophy support, which is good. But I hope Sony is not stupid enough to release their first-party games on their day and date, and now we also know that PlayStation games were forced to be put on PC, because some of the PlayStation first-party devs told them to do so, which was revealed by Cory Barlog, which in my opinion is stupid, because God of War PC port took 2 years to do so. And we will have wait and see the numbers of the conversion rate between the players then come from PC to PS5, and to PC from PS5. And now with Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, Sony dare not put their games day and date on PC, which further makes their console looks less appealing. And that's all for the video, guys. Like and share the video for a greater audience. Comment your thoughts on the topics, and donations are always appreciated. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon, and until then, from SMPV, it's goodbye.